All right, people, what's good? What's good? What's good? This is For the Lack of God. And today we are joined by singer, songwriter, top liner, producer, Toryn. Is it Toryn or Tori?
Toryn.
Toryn. Lovely, lovely. What's good, Toryn?
It's going good. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so you'll have to bear with me. Basically, my first question is who, in your own words, is Torin?
That's a hard question I wasn't prepared for. um,
It's all right.
I'm a storyteller, I would think is the best way to describe me. A lyricist, a very open and honest person.
Mm.
I say I'm an open book. There's really nothing I hide from people. Um, and I express myself with those words put to music.
That's a pretty nice description. That's a pretty nice description. um, all right. If you could collaborate with anyone, who would it be, and what kind of track would you like to make with them?
This is reaching, but Aurora is my number one person I'd love to
Hey,
write.
reach all you want, mate. You never know. You never know.
That's my
Reach all you want.
dream. And I think we could create something like just very unique, very alternative, almost like a with a Celtic women kind of spin. I think could be really cool, but like dark.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, you might have to explain to an old man who is Aurora.
Do you know who Aurora is?
I can't say I do,
Oh my
unless you
gosh.
can jog my old man memory. I'm
No,
not
she
into.
she's the she sings, oh, what's the song you would know? I can't think of the title of it, but she sings a lot of songs about how we're destroying the planet, and her songs are very deep and dark. She has like a really dark past and history, and she writes from that.
Yeah.
Um, but she's all about like saving the world, saving the animals, all of that, saving the planet. And she writes really cool, lilty kind of very atmosphere style
Hmm.
songs. Um, but yeah, you should look her up after this.
How do you spell it? Is it like, oh, I'm
It's
guessing it's like A, hang on, I'm gonna A
R
U R
O R A.
O R A.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I will. I'll check that out. Sounds quite nice. But yeah. And then so that in a or to work with her in a Celtic style, in a dark Celtic style.
I think it could be really cool and unique. Yeah.
Mm. It sounds pretty good. It's quite a nice style, like which, funny enough, actually, I didn't have this in the question. I'll just jump straight in with this one. But your song, right, "Boy Behind the Mask," I reckon that would have been that style, or could also fit that style.
Really.
Yeah, I was listening. It's gonna sound really old, but I was listening to it while doing the ironing this morning, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, do you know what? I could see it. I could see it. There's a couple, but Boy Behind the Mask in that
Mm-hmm.
sort of like that sort of Celtic style, no drums and just build it,
Mm.
it will go. It will go. Like I was like, yeah. But yeah, Boy Behind the Mask, I enjoyed that one. I
Thank
enjoyed that
you.
one. That was nice. And what was the other one? And Pit like oh my pen's gone weird. Pieces. A
Yeah.
very very ballady one as well. But yeah, I was listening to the album this morning while doing the ironing. So
Well, thank
there
you
you
for streaming it. I appreciate
no, you're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. Well, I had to. I had like that's why we were getting on this. I
Yep.
couldn't just turn up and be like, yeah, you know what I mean? I got like
What's
I
your
had to
albums
listen
about?
to it. Yeah, exactly. What is it? Like well, I mean, what inspired it is a question, but you know,
Hmm.
you got to get an understanding. But yeah, I quite enjoyed that. But as you were on that Celtic thing, I thought I'd bring that up. So another little icebreaker question for you. What genres would you like to step in and collaborate with next? Because you spend a lot of time in like with EDM.
I want to eventually work in every genre. The thing
Mm,
that I'm most interested in doing, and it's going to be a challenge because I'm not what you typically see in that realm, but like metal. I'd really like to write like a melodic metal and then have a vocalist that can scream on it. I've tried, I can't.
Hmm.
But to
So,
have somebody to collaborate and do that with, that'd be
mm.
cool.
When you say don't normally see, what do you mean by that?
I have a light, I have the opera style sound on my voice, and then like I have like people say I kind of sound childlike in a way with a lot of my vocals, and that's
Mm.
not the kind of person that you hear singing on metal songs. You hear people who can scream or people with really deep open sound.
I agree, and I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I agree with like because I like rock music, I like metal music, but when it comes to the screaming, I can't stand it.
Really?
I can't stand it. I don't know. It does like I have this thing called misophonia, right?
Okay.
Where like I don't like people eating. Oh, it gets to me and it makes me very angry. I'm not saying the screaming makes me angry, but a constant scream, I I I don't get it. A scream here and there, like so. An example of that, just off the top of my head, would be like 30 seconds to Mars the Kill,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you know, he sings, and then they have that little screamy bit, and we're golden. So screams like in and out of it artistically beautiful, or like um Linkin Park and Chester. I mean, like they're not. He's not constantly screaming. He's singing, and you know, occasionally he'll do like the massive scream and stuff. So in and out like that is beautiful. But to go back to the other point, like I think with the opera, like with the operatic style as well, that like that could work. I mean, I wouldn't say there's a set requirement for going into rock. It's more like I think personally, it's more like it's more just the stereotypical instrumentation. But then that, I guess how do you want to define metal is I guess what that kind of boils down to as well. But I wouldn't say you wouldn't be like I wouldn't say you'd be out of place. Like there's a like there's a lane for everyone. I'm pretty sure there's probably an opera sort of style, but then there's also very melodic metal as well.
Yeah.
So you could find a place there as well. Like so, I think it could work, but and then
Try.
yeah, exactly, and then find someone that could as you say, scream like do the scream or the growl depending on where you want to go with it.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I think it could work. And then it's just bringing in your own style to it. I mean, look at Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park when they first came out. Like when was that? Like not like early noughties. No, like I think Hybrid Theory came out in '98. Don't hold me to that, but I mean it came out somewhere around that sort of time. Yeah, and like everyone was like, "Oh, what's this? Is this rap or is this rock? Like, what is this?" And then they did Hybrid Theory, and they come along with Meteora, and then again they went into Minutes to Midnight, and everyone. And then when they did that one, everyone was like, "Oh, what's this? You've sold out." And but like just constantly redefining it. So I guess in a very long tangenty way, what I'm trying to say is like you can wherever you vision the rock to be is what rock or metal can be.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I didn't mean to go on some massive
Oh,
motivational
yeah.
rant then, by the way. I apologize for that.
You're all good.
All right. So you also produce as
Mhm.
well. Um, what got you into production? Or got I'm going to start that again. What what made you want to get into production?
So I had hired a producer for my first song in 2019,
Hmm.
and I didn't really know what to expect. I thought that they were very good at what they did. And then we recorded about 5 more songs to start releasing in 2020. Then COVID hit,
Hmm.
and everything just kept delaying. And so by about August of 2021, I hit my limit, and I said, I can't, I cannot continue working with you. You're not getting me. I've already done all the recording. I've already paid you, and it's been a year and a half and I haven't gotten anything.
Hmm.
So I cut ties with them. And then around that time, we moved into our first rental house. We'd always been in 1 bedroom apartments, my husband and I. And we rented a house, and I said, I want to make a room a studio. I want to buy equipment. I want to do this myself. So in 2022, we went and bought a ton of stuff, and I started to learn to produce so that I didn't have to rely on someone else.
No, that's a fair reason, to be honest. That's a fair reason, sort of the same reason why I did it as well.
Yeah.
Is yeah, yeah, sort of the same. But then you think about it as well with that money that you could have spent is something you can spend elsewhere as well. So you paid the one-off thing. I mean, I don't know how you do it, sessions, monthly or whatever. So you've saved that money to go
Towards the kid.
somewhere else. So with that, how has producing for yourself like changed the way that you write songs?
It's allowed me to move into different genres. I always just wrote with voice and piano, and
Mm,
everything that I wrote, I started writing when I was 9, and everything that I'd written up to that point of 2022 was just voice and piano, very like indie songwriter style. And then when I started learning to produce, I actually was able to put new instrumentation in. And I found that like the thing that I really like to create is like an electro pop style.
mm,
I'd love to do more EDM, but I'm still learning how to get that really heavy sound.
mm,
But yeah, it just allowed me to move into so many different like genres with it because I'd never had that ability to create a different genre than what I just was capable of with just having the piano and having my voice. So
yeah,
that's the
yeah, yeah.
change.
Very nice. Very nice. But all right. So the album you just released the album last Friday.
Yes, a
Last
week ago.
Friday, yeah. So now that you've released it, how do you feel to have that out there?
It feels good. It feels like sending a kid off to college. Like it was time. I started writing the album in 2023, and I wrote the entire thing in the span of a couple months, and it's just
Mm,
been producing, rewriting, fixing, producing, learning to get better at producing. So it literally did get to a point where I was just like, I'm done and I want it out there. So feels good.
your first one as well, like because
My
you've
first
released you've
album.
released it like singles in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and you've done quite a lot of collaborations as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now you've got your first like your first album.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think I remember when I did mine. It was the most nerve wracking thing in the world. I think the hardest part of it is once it's uploaded to whoever you're distributing to, is pressing the button, like because in it, it opens everything up. So like,
Yeah.
when you've done it and you've listened to it like I don't know a million times, uh, and in your head you're like, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that, and then you're like, right, I'm gonna do it, and you'll show it to friends or whoever, and then you upload it, and then it's like, oh, what, and then yeah, you sort of stutter on the launch because then it becomes very real.
Yeah.
It becomes very real, and like, and then it's open to the world, and you know, as you say, it become like sending a kid off to college, and then
Yeah.
it finds its way and to where it wants to like hang out and make its friends
Yeah.
and stuff. um, so was there like, oh, well, there probably were quite a few from the answer, but were there like any particular moments that made you like really doubt or question the album?
I kind of like I said, like I'm an open book. And I also feel like I've gained a lot of confidence since 2022, starting to produce and starting to release my own stuff.
Hmm.
When I first started, it was very much like I'm so scared of letting this go and it's not ready, it's not good. And I did this online like course with a bunch of people, and they talked about release, repeat, release, repeat.
Hmm.
And I took that 100% literally, and I've released now over 100 songs since 2019 I had one, but then
Hmm.
2022 I started again, and I just go. So by the time that I was starting the album and writing the album, I knew I wanted to release it, and I didn't really have any points where I was like, I'm not going to release this, or I don't feel like it's good. It just felt like it needed more production constantly. and that was the only
Mm.
thing holding me back. That's the only reason it didn't get released in 2023.
When I was at uni, when I went to uni to learn production, and that was one of the things that like a lot of the teachers said, like release and repeat.
Mhm.
But then one thing they always say is, you've heard the concept of the 1,000 hours and stuff like that. Like, you
I don't
work
think
on
I have.
like the fact, like they say, like if you work at something for a fact like 1,000 hours, I can't remember the
Oh,
entire thing
becoming
off
a
the top of my head
master of
now,
it.
but yeah, basically you put in like 1,000 hours and you sort of like master your craft sort of thing. Although
Yes.
you never really master your craft, but you're always chasing that next level. And the thing is, like with production, you'll do it, like you'll do something today, you'll go to bed and think, that was the nuts. And then you'll wake up tomorrow and you'll be like, oh, I don't know. Like, and because you're always like, something will happen. You'll either wake up in a mood or you've had some sort of day and you'll go back to it, this and that. And you're always trying to chase something, but it always depends kind of on your mood that day. And that was one of the biggest obstacles that our teachers spoke about was, you got to find the line to nip it. Otherwise, you're constantly just going to be chasing, because you might not have known something one day. You'll do it. I can't remember the word, but you'll put it into action. Um, and you'll go to sleep, and then you'll do it, and you'll be like, oh, this and that. So you're constantly chasing perfection is one of the is basically what they called it.
Mhm.
So how did you deal with so-called perfection
I mean, with the album specifically or in
in
general?
in general? Like how do you know where to draw that, or where do you feel you draw that line, like when you're creating?
I've always been a perfectionist, and as I get older, I get less of a become less of one. I don't feel
Mm,
like it's as important now as I felt like it was, 4 or 5 years ago. And when it comes to the music, it's literally just is this the best that I can do right now? I understand there's another level that I can get to, and I'm going to get there at some point.
mm,
But right now, is this the best I can do? And if so, it might be time to let this go. It's going to go out there, and I'm going to go to the next thing, and I'm going to do better. If I
mm-hmm,
feel like I can do better on something today, like I'm ready to go with it, it's pretty much done. And I don't really hear anything crazy right now. I'm going to consider that done. If I'm mixing something and I'm like, this needs to have something specific, I just don't know how to do it, then I go and find somebody to help me figure out how to do it. And once I fix those things, that's the point at which I put it out. But I'm not going to get super nitpicky because I understand the things that I released years ago sound awful to me now. Like,
mm-hmm,
why did I do that? Why did I let that? Because that's where I was. That's the best I could do where I was.
mm.
10 years from now, this album's going to sound awful to me. And that's kind of, I understand that and I just let that happen.
Yeah, yeah. But then in 10 years time, that's the 10-year anniversary, so then you can drop an anniversary edition.
Remaster or something. Yeah.
Yeah, remasters, remixes, like different styles of interpretations, even of songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then then it would probably take on a whole new lease of life again for you. Like,
Yeah.
I say comparisons is a bit of a naughty word, but comparisons.
Yeah.
Um, so as you say, you're quite an emotional writer, and quite being an open book. And you definitely have done that on this album and with your other collaborations as well. um but what made you want to go with the concept of ghosted for your first album?
So it's based on a specific relationship that I had,
Mm,
but I incorporated a lot of things that happened to me throughout my life. I was I've kind of always been the person that has been ghosted or led on, played with when it comes to dating relationships. Um, and so I was able to really play off of that for the album. But it was very much based on a specific relationship where I liked this guy. He said he liked me, and we started to get close. And then one day he just stopped messaging me, and I was like, that's kind of weird. And he had given some signs that things were off, but um, never explicitly said anything. And I got mad because I was like, well, I have this emotional investment in this person, and I feel like I have to try something. I'm an Aries, so I'm a fiery person. I'm very blunt, and so I was just like, what the hell's going on, right? What are
Mm,
you doing? And it was just this whole roller coaster where literally he would come back and act like nothing happened. He would disappear for another month. He would come back. And so that's why the album really is, it's a roller coaster of like, oh, we're good. Oh, we're bad. Oh, we're good. Oh, we're bad. And that's because it
mm,
took me so long to learn the lesson of this isn't good for you. I was young, naive. This isn't good for you. That's the whole concept. And then again, I drew from like other relationship experiences I had where that's kind of always happened to me. That's happened to me with a lot of relationships I've been in. I've really only had 3 boyfriends in my life, but the people that I dated or talked to, it was kind of always like that because I always give multiple chances and people understand she's easy to take advantage of. I'm
mm,
not anymore, which is good, but
mm.
that was a lesson that took me a long, long, long time to
I can understand that. I've been in similar situations, so yeah, I can understand that. So then, with that, what do you want the world to take from the album?
I hope that people relate to it. I know I'm not the only crazy person out there that gives tons of chances
Mm,
or lets myself fall in love with the idea of someone as opposed to
mm,
the actual person. A lot of us experience that.
yep.
So I hope that people hear some of these songs and it's therapeutic. They understand they're not alone and they can just use it as like a processing tool or mechanism to get through that difficult, weird time in their life. I really hope it reaches the right people for that.
So then, also, this one kind of ties in with the blog that you answered for us a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in it you said about like again, you don't have to answer this. This one might seem a bit, I don't know, a bit close to the bone. I don't know, but
Okay.
if you don't want to answer it, just say it's fine. Um, but there was a professor in college that made you lose your passion for music.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, you don't. If you want to explain that, you're cool. But I understand it's a bit touchy. You can tell me to stop it if you like. It's all right.
I'm an open book. I'm not going to name her because I don't want to shame her.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there was a professor my first year in college. And if you know me, you're going to know who this is. If you know me personally, you're going to know who I'm talking about. But she was very, she always had a very strong opinion of everything about me. I don't know if she did this with her other students,
Mm,
but she would talk negatively about the things that I would wear, the way I would dress, which affected me because I was trying to dress appropriately for an 18-year-old going to college for opera, right? Like I'm doing my best. And she would criticize things like that, which would actually loop into my performance, my singing. So then I wouldn't be having a good lesson with her. Like we'd be practicing or warming up, and she'd complain about the fact that I'm wearing a skirt and skirts don't look good on me or whatever. And then I wouldn't be able to sing well.
mm,
And she would always criticize and critique. And I never wanted to go to lessons because I felt like it was just a judgment session. And we had lessons every week when you go to school for music. I mean, that's part of your curriculum. You have to go.
mm,
And I didn't want to get out of bed. I was so depressed. And a lot of it was from her. I mean, there's other things, there's other reasons, but a lot of
mm,
it was, I felt like I'm going to school for something that I want to pursue for the rest of my life. And you're making me feel like I'm awful at it. And
mm,
so, yeah, I didn't write. I stopped writing in college for a long time. I didn't write probably from like 2015 until 2017, about 2 years. And yeah, I just felt like I'm not even good at this thing that I'm pursuing anymore. And then I fell out of it for a long time too. After that, I didn't do music for years until like 2019. I didn't start again.
what was it and what did it take, like physically and emotionally to, rediscover your passion for music again?
I mean, I get song ideas and lyric ideas that pop into my head all the time.
Mm,
And during that period of time, I don't remember if I like was not getting those things or if I was getting them and letting them wash away. But
Yeah.
I remember in 2017, I wanted to write because I was getting married. I wanted to write a song for my husband for our wedding. That was always like a dream I wanted to do. So I forced myself to sit down and start writing. And I wrote a couple crappy songs and threw them away. And then I wrote the one that I liked. And then I started writing again in 2018, and it was all Christian music. I was going through a lot of like really dark times, and I was just kind of asking God for help. I had songs that were like about despair and reaching out to God, and things that were like trying to be thankful to God for the life that I had. Um, and that's what got me back in. Then I started listening to those things that came in again, and like I have lyric ideas, I have melody ideas, and that happens like every day. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just kind of let it happen after that. But it took a long time to process what happened, and I feel like I'm over it now. I'm okay now. I understand my value isn't rooted in anything else outside of what I decide it is. I don't
Mm.
need to let other factors influence what I think is makes me valuable. And again, that's with age. For people who are younger listening to this, I know it feels like that's never going to happen. Like I was like that. As you get older, you start to realize like things really don't matter that much. Like it really doesn't matter. But I
Mm.
hope that encourages you and doesn't scare you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm an old man, and there's still some things that scare me. There's still some things yeah, still some things I'm scared of. So yeah, I don't think it matters the age, but I get what I get what you mean. It's more the development of growth and
Yeah.
the journey you want to take.
Mhm.
Whereas some of that growth still scares me, to be fair. I won't lie. I won't lie. But yeah, like and you said about that teacher. This might just be me, but you ever seen the film Whiplash?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
Oh,
Is
mate.
it older?
No, it's not that old. Oh Christ. You'll probably see it and be like, and you've either seen it and you've just forgotten, or I know you've probably definitely seen like the videos and stuff of it. Yeah, like clips and that. Basically this guy decides he wants to be he wants to be a professional drummer, and he goes to study to be a drummer. But basically he excuse my language, but his teacher is a proper dick. Like just a proper dick. And he just rides him for everything. Like there's a clip in there. He's drumming and he's going. His hands are all blistered up, and like his hands start bleeding because he's trying, and every time he do something, and the teacher will be like, nope, start again, nope, start again. Or like there's a couple of times he gets like subbed out but for another guy, and like this teacher is proper on him for it. And yeah, it sort of it reminded me of that. It's a hell of a film, but it kind of reminded me of that. So yeah, you might enjoy it, you might not. Again, but
Might
yeah,
get too close to home, yeah.
yeah. I feel a bit naughty for saying it now, but it's kind of what it reminds me of, like the nitpicking, and then but then it shows like the resilience. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, to be like let's do this, like to get through the course, and then to go on and do what you want to do. So it probably yeah, it will hit close to home, but it's definitely a watch. Mate, it's a good film. I can't remember how I was going to tie that other one in. I'll pass. But so so was there a moment during the making of this album where it hit you, like with again, talking about the teacher, like the healing from broken hearts, and stuff like that, with like how much you've grown both as an artist and a person.
It really wasn't until recently. Like I really feel like in the last couple years, I've grown a lot. I lost my job in 2024,
Mm,
and I'd always had my identity tied to my job.
mm,
And so that coinciding with writing the album and trying to, start doing music full time. I just started doing this full time, like not even 2 years ago, year and a half ago.
Mm.
And it was something that I was still trying to process and grow through. I would say really in the last year, maybe year and a half, is the point at which I started to feel like I've overcome a lot.
Mm.
I felt very weak before that. My identity's tied in these things and these people and all this. And I really started to understand how true it is that nothing matters unless you let it matter,
Mm.
until like a year and a half ago when I decided I'm doing this full time. And even just starting that was very tricky for me. Um, so it's been a very recent thing with the album specifically too, just trying to understand like I let myself be played.
Mm.
I've had as much part to play as the other person and people in my life who made me feel little by doing what they did to me. But I let myself be in that situation. I saw signs. There were things that I understood and knew and could disconnect myself from the situation, and I didn't. Part of it's I love drama, right? Like I'm old enough to admit I like being the center of attention sometimes, and I like drama. Also, I get a lot of inspiration from bad situations for my music, right? So being in those things and kind of letting myself see how far I go into those things creates really good music sometimes.
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to admit that. But I really feel like I've hit that point where I understand it's unhealthy. I also have a ton of stories to draw from and things to draw from for my music for the rest of my life. I don't have to go through one more crappy situation to have an unlimited supply of crap to write about. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I've hit that point just in the last maybe year where I really feel like I've overcome a lot. I feel very confident in myself, in what I'm doing, what I'm pursuing, and understanding my value.
And don't get me wrong, I like being a center of attention as well. And I also like a bit of drama. I
Mm.
love drama. I can't stand reality TV programs that like, excuse my
Me
French, they get on my
either.
tits. But I I love them. But I there's like as long as I'm not personally involved, I don't really mind it. But I do love it. I do love a bit of I do love a bit of gossip. Love a bit
Mm.
of gossip, me. I could sit there for ages. Tea in one hand, biscuit in the other. Oh, I'm happy. Whether we go through it or we know the people that are going through it, a lot of that you can tie it like you can draw from, and a lot of people do it. Like I can't remember who the interview was with. It was with someone, and they said that basically like they sit on the train and they'll put their headphones on, but they won't turn their headphones on, so they'll just be resting on their head, and they'll listen to other people's conversations and like get the phone out, pretend to like message, and they'll just be writing notes of what they've heard in that conversation. Yeah, and then they'll go back and turn it into a concept for a song and things like that. So like
Oh,
there's loads of different ways, and a little bit of healthy center of attention and healthy things, and that it's all good. It's all part of the trials and tribulation of growth. But then also, even though sometimes we may have seen the signs, it also kind of depends on the situation as well. Like, how do we feel in this? Can like because a lot of times, we'll ignore it for something else. So I wouldn't entirely hold yourself too accountable for that, because there are other things involved. Oh, I've got the hiccups. I'm so sorry.
you're good.
I'm trying to keep them down. They're just coming up. But but yeah. What was your job before you got laid off?
I was in property management and real estate.
Oh, very
I've been
nice.
doing that for about 8 years.
Wow. I mean, I was gonna say what made you wanna what made you like wanna start the business in music?
So I lost my job in January 2024, and over the course of 9, 10 months, I applied to 776 jobs.
Jesus
I
Christ.
think I had 5 interviews and no job offers. And the economy was getting awful and times were getting scary. And in the summer in 2024, had started like offering the collaborations with people. And in the progressive house realm, it grew to the point where at one point I had like 20 people on a wait list to work with me.
Wow.
And I was like, this is so much, it's overwhelming. And I think it was one of my friends told me you need to start charging. And I said, I can't charge. Just start with $20. So the first person that reaches out to me, they're like, hey, you want to collab? I'm like, at $20? And they're
Yeah.
like, sure. And they sent me the $20. And I went, I can make money from this. And so over the course of the next few months, I mean, I did several at $20 just because I was like, I don't value myself in music. I'm having fun. And it's worked its way up to where I'm making decent money now when I do collaborations. But I got to the point where I was like, well, I'm making some money. I could grow this into a business. If I'm not focusing, 40 hours a week applying to jobs, trying to get interviews, trying to, I was getting certifications in like, I got a Salesforce certification. Like, I'll go into IT, like, I'll do something crazy, right? If I'm not focusing on all that and I'm putting this effort and energy into building a business in music where I'm making money,
Mm.
maybe I can make this permanent. Maybe I can make this my thing. And it's still a work in progress. Don't get me wrong. I'm not making tons of money. I am
Mm.
making very, very, probably less than you think I'm making, but I'm doing something that I love and I can see where this can go in the future. I believe in myself. And so I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to make this work for me.
Nearly 2 years
Yeah, in
was, yeah,
October, it'll be 2 years since I started this full time.
yeah. You're all good. And the chat like that again, the hardest part is asking for money. I hate that. I hate it. I
It's
hate it.
weird,
Yeah.
especially for
Well,
something you really want to do anyway. It's like, this is so good. Would you pay
yeah,
me?
yeah. Again, but that comes down to the belief, like to the belief in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's your inner dialogue, and then part of that is controlled by your past, but then also part of that is controlled by what we hear in society. The so-called bigwigs in the industry. Um, and if you haven't got this or you haven't got that and blah blah blah, and all that pays a toll. So then when it comes to that moment when someone reaches out and says, "Can we do this?" and you've got I don't know, got to do a collaboration, or you've got someone wants you to do a review or this and that, and you're like, and then but then you've got to find that point between, it's like, is this too little? Is this too much? You've got to and then and then you fall into the rabbit hole of researching how much other people cost, or sorry, not cost, charge.
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah, so but to start with 20 and get the first 20, that's a good start. And then get a couple with 20, move up to 40, move up to 60. I don't know, again, it depends on how you want to do it. I won't get into your process, but you know what I mean. So yeah, mate, it's all golden. And there's a like top lining and stuff like that, especially in EDM as well. Like there's quite a bit in there, because like they're always gonna want something vocal, whether that's an idea, um, whether you top line something and someone else and then they get someone to sing it, so you can learn from that, or you'll do it, and then as you'll like it'll be your voice on the record, um, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's always like a lot of producers always want a vocalist. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, mate, you're sorted. You're sorted. But no, it's a good thing. I remember when I started this. Well, see, to be honest, it still scares me. It still scares me doing this. But oh yeah. So as we've said, you work with you've worked with quite a few producers now on projects. I've released a few songs with them. So when you go when you've confirmed the collaboration and everything's booked in, how do you approach those collaborations and the songwriting?
So I first usually ask people if they have a concept that they want me to write about. Because if somebody has like a strong feeling about what they want their track to, what they want it to convey, then I want
Mm,
to respect that. Most people let me run with my stuff, which is why a lot of my songs are sad and they refer back to all these sad situations with me.
hmm.
But some of them do want like very specific things. So I've had to get out of my comfort zone and write happy songs, love songs, things I'm not the best at. Um, so yeah, and then I basically just write it, make sure they like the lyrics and melody, and then I record it and vocals to them, and I usually mix my own vocals now. For
Mm.
the longest time, I didn't. Then I got to the point where I would get demos back from people, and they're like, "I don't know how to mix vocals, and this is what it sounds like." And I'm like, "That's not good enough. We're gonna fix it." So I mix my own vocals now too, which is kind of a unique thing for top liners in the industry.
That part I don't. That part I don't know, but I know. I know there are quite a lot of people that do their would like to do their own vocals. I
Mm-hmm.
think, and then again, that sits down to your own taste because sometimes someone might do something you yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, then you get it, and yeah. So I know there are I know a lot. I know there are a few people that like to mix their own vocals, especially like if you like buy a beat or something, and you just get that instrumental, and you can't necessarily work with that producer, but you want to put it out and stuff. So like again, a lot of people go that way as well with the vocals. So what? I've written this question so weird. Um, what have you learned from working with other artists that you incorporate into your own methods of creativity?
I love to get on calls like this with people and write something from scratch and learn people's processes so that I can see if I like it better than what I've done in the past, which is fun. I also like to get emotions from other people and like feelings from other people, the way that they approach certain subjects like love or heartbreak, because it's
Mm,
not necessarily how I approach it. So having another angle to come at things from, I think makes you a better writer and, lyricist. Um, and then yeah, just like learning certain things about how people produce and mix for me, because that's the thing that I'm still a baby at.
mm,
It's really cool to be able to be like, hey, I'm working with a producer, but I also produce. What can you show me? Or how did you do this weird thing that you did in this song? Or what instrument is this? Whatever it is. So I feel like I learn a lot from working with other people. It's the only way that I've grown, because there wasn't a lot I could teach myself. YouTube can do certain things, I can learn certain things, but being inside of somebody else's mind, that's how I've grown so much.
yeah, like YouTube's a hell of a rabbit hole for things like that, though. Hell of a rabbit hole. Like you're because there's probably like I don't know, let's say 1,000 videos just explaining one thing, and then you'll watch them all, but everyone's got different ways of doing something, and you never like not saying that they're all doing the same thing. Not saying everyone's like every way is like the right way. It's how we incorporate what they do, but you can watch a video on one thing and you'll go to the next video and it'll take you something completely different, and then you end up more lost than when you began.
Yep.
um so yeah, YouTube is good for some things, as long as you kind of like nip it in the bud, like after a bit, and then go and do it. But also with things like that is sometimes you need to be shown in person kind of how to do it, which was, to be honest, was one of the reasons why. Well, in fact, it was the reason why I wanted to go and study it, was to try and get a more hands-on approach. Because I mean, I had a friend that, well, my friend got me into music, which is how all this started. But um, it was like I didn't always quite understand how he was showing me, and then because I only had him,
Mm-hmm.
I've like to keep going back asking the same question all the time. I felt a bit silly, so I decided to go and study it, so then I could just annoy someone that was getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Um, and then, but yeah, hands on is always the best way to do it, like in any job,
Mm-hmm.
because you're learning as you, well, I mean, not that you don't learn as you do it with music, you are learning as you do it with music, but it's always best like to be in that, like if you're, I don't know, in an office or in construction or something like that, you'll do it like you're just there doing it, you're in the zone with it. Quick question, boom, back in. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I was going to ask you another question. I've talked myself out of it. I've talked myself out of it, but I know you got to go, so I won't I won't bother you with that one. So um yeah, so we'll end it there if you like. Yeah, basically, so I'll let you tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
So I'm Toryn, Toryn. And I'm on all streaming services. Follow me on Instagram at Toryn Newton Music, TORYN NEWTON Music. And that's it.
And Spotify and all that good stuff.
Spotify, Apple, everything. You can find me anywhere. YouTube, if you want something fully free, I'm there too.
Lovely, lovely. All right, people. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. All right, I'll just end this recording and we're all good real quick. All right, people. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.